Being new on a job can bring excitement, but it can also bring feelings of anxiety, especially when you are trying to learn something new. You thought you had experience doing the job at a previous job, but this one does it totally different, or you may have had the same job title, but you realize the functions are different, whatever. But yeah, a new job brings about excitement and it can bring about anxiety at the same time, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So, if you reach a point at a job and you feel like you are falling behind at work, those feelings are probably real and not just in your head. And you definitely need to find a way to rectify that. Because if you do not, what is going to happen is people are going to come to you and tell you what you are doing wrong. Okay? And sometimes they may not even tell you what you are doing wrong. They may not even forewarn you. You just may find yourself not being there anymore. So it just depends on the company. It depends on the culture of the company. Some jobs treat humans like humans. Some jobs do not. They treat humans just as a productivity um, object. You know, it's all about what can you do for me? What can you do for me? What can you do for me? So, my point is, if you feel like you're falling behind in work, you have to find a way to learn your job and in a timely manner by any means necessary. And I am not kidding you. So maybe you are learning your job individually. It's like it's just you individually, although you're on the team, but it's just individual learning. Or you could be doing group learning. And if you are learning in a group when there is an odd number, like three or five, you can feel like the third wheel or the fifth wheel, in the group, and you can lag behind. So you need to come up with a way to not lag behind. You need to find a way to learn your job. And I know learning a job online can be virtually working from home can be a little difficult, even more so because you really don't have that face-to-face human interaction. I mean, there's Zoom, you know, but still it can feel a little awkward learning a new job at home. But you have to find a way to learn it, because, if they hired you, you were worthy of being hired. Now you just need to execute the jobs out fully. And you have to find some kind of way. Don't sit there um, like a zombie, or don't just sit there and internally say to yourself, I'm not getting this, I'm falling behind. You want to ask yourself, why are you falling behind? Is it that you're in this group, this odd number group, and when you try to put in your ideals, no one is listening, and it makes you feel like you're unimportant, like you're just not needed? Well, you got to find yourself, you got to find a way to be needed in that group, or to get your voice heard, because like I said, you are responsible for learning your job and learning it in a timely manner, because if not, then they're going to come to you and ask you questions, and you better have a good response as to why you're not learning your job and why you're not learning it timely. So if you are in this group and you are the fifth wheel, what you can do is, if you were in a training class previously, you can reflect on your notes. If you still have access to the training system, you can practice in the training system. And also, just let your group know, you know, ask them, can they slow down, or ask them, hey, if, you know, ask them, can you do some of the work instead of just sitting on the sidelines and observing? Ask them, or tell them rather, hey, you want to key in the information in the system. You want to do some research. Don't just be the person that just sits on the sidelines and let everybody else do the job, because you're not going to learn it that way. I mean, sitting back and observing is good to a certain point, but there comes a point when you need to physically do the work, because you are going to have to physically do the work when the assignments come to you. So yeah, I mean, hook up with groups outside of work. If there's a group, get some resources online, but that may help, but it may not, because each company, they do their work based on their company guidelines. What let's see, what Bank of America does when it comes to a certain position, Chase Bank may not do it that way. And it's probably going to be hard to find stuff online because a lot of that information is confidential. So you really need to ask questions, and you really need to dig in and find a way on how not to fall behind and learn your job in a timely manner by any means necessary. Make sure that you are heard at work. Make sure that you are not ignored in the workplace, because you got hired and you need your money and you need your job. And just remember, you come to work to perform. And even if you are in a training phase, you are performing. Not as much, but you're performing in a way of, hey, you have to get the information, you have to get the tools, you have to do what you need to do in order to learn the job in a timely manner. You may not be perfect with it, but you at least want to know 80% of the job and be up to speed 80% when it comes to when you receive your own workload.